You're listening to episode 18 of the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast, Identity Shifting. Welcome to the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast, a show for high achievers who are ready to start enjoying the life they've worked so hard to create. Join me, your host and certified life coach, Dr. Tangi, to learn how to start infusing the dedication you have for your career into living a truly fulfilling life. If you're ready to finally gain the happiness your soul has been longing for, this podcast is for you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 18. I am so happy you are here. So I just got back from Medellin, Colombia. Our family is expecting a brand new baby boy, my nephew, and I really just wanted to spend some quality time with my niece and her parents before things got really hectic over there for them. And I'm also really excited because after being on this wait list for months and months and months, I now get to gift my dad, who has shown such strength and resilience over the past year with some of his health surprises. I'm finally getting the opportunity to gift him his dream dog for Christmas. And I was beginning to think that it just might not happen for this particular dog because the wait list was so very long. So he is getting the cutest little Welsh Terrier. But boy, were they in demand. So it's a lot of change happening for my dad and my brother. And these changes, they are beautiful and they're welcome. And they will also require growth and change, which means some pretty intense periods of being uncomfortable, as all change does. And so my brother and his wife, they're going from one kid to two. My dad is going from an empty nester with no dog or no kids to a brand new puppy parent. And both scenarios are going to require them to shift their identities. And that same idea holds true for any goal, including going from success exhaustion to success alignment, learning to live life with intention and authenticity, and learning how to go from being overwhelmed to being at peace with not only life, but also with yourself. It is something you are going to have to do over and over and over again as long as you're alive. And since I've come to this realization, I've been thinking a lot about how to do this artfully. How do we master this art of identity shifting? And so that's what we're going to talk about today. And I think the first step to identity shifting is to actually acknowledge and agree with the idea that your past, it's over and it can no longer hinder you unless you allow it to do so. I feel like people using their past to define their future is the number one hurdle to shifting into the new identity that you need in order to get to where you want to go. All of your past is gone. And we get to choose the parts we want to hang on to, and we get to choose what we make those things mean about our future. Even if you're in a job that sucks, even if up until now you've been on the hot mess express trying to figure out how to make all the pieces of your newfound success work, especially if you're an entrepreneur. 2020 was a great year for us. I'm just saying. Many of us have also been thrust into step number 2 of mastering the art of identity shifting, which is to think like a CEO and focus on innovation. And this applies to you even if you're not an entrepreneur. You are still the CEO of you, and you have to treat yourself, your life, your finances like a CEO if you want to create a life that includes both success and happiness. This is real work, people. If you want the legacy and things of that nature, you got to think like a CEO, even if you work for somebody else. And as this CEO archetype, this innovator, what you're going to have to do is to begin to build your identity ladder. An identity ladder is how we go from being the point A version of ourselves to the point B version of ourselves. It's learning how to become the person you need to be rung by rung so that you can shift into your new identity with confidence, security, and certainty. And I teach you exactly how to do this in the Wealthy Happy Soul Project. So if you haven't joined us, make sure you do that today. And lastly, mastering the art of identity shifting requires you to think. That's THANK, think. I feel like I'm saying think. I'm from Kentucky, y'all. My accent's a little wonky sometimes, but it requires you to think and release as well toxic situations, toxic people, all the toxic things from your life as much as possible. And I say thank them because it is through these situations that we are given the opportunity to learn more about what makes us tick and about our own character and what we are made of. And from a higher perspective, the people in our lives and the situations we find ourselves in are merely reflections of us and the energy that we're putting out into the world. And we unconsciously exhibit this when we say things like, he or she reminds me of myself in this way or in that way. And that's because when we see something that we deem good in somebody else, it's easy to relate it back to ourselves because we generally like to think of ourselves as good people. But take a moment and notice that we have a much harder time doing this when we deem something as bad, even though it may be just as true of a reflection of what's actually happening for us internally. And the last thing I want to say is that all of this sounds really great. And I know that on a cerebral level, most everybody gets what I've been saying. But even with this knowledge, the majority of people will choose to stay the same. And the majority of people will continue to dwell in the toxicity that is slowly eating them alive. It's kind of like that example of the frog. There's this urban myth that if you put a frog in boiling water, it's going to instantly leap out. It's a life or death situation. The frog knows the boiling water is going to kill it. However, on the other hand, if you put it in a pot filled with pleasantly tepid water, and then you gradually heat it up, and you heat it up some more, and you heat it up some more, it's said that the frog will remain in the water until it boils to death. And I know that because most of you are not in an immediate life or death situation, many will choose to stay in toxic situations because that's what you believe you deserve. Now let that sink in for a moment. Your results are a direct reflection of what you are actually committed to. It's a hard truth that I know people don't usually tell you, and I know some of you don't want to hear it because maybe you haven't committed to doing the deep work on yourself. Maybe you're scared of going deeper. Maybe you're scared of kind of looking at that shadow part of you. But let me just say that my deepest desire is to really give you the tools that you need in order to create the life that you deserve to live. And at the risk of sounding like my parents, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't tell you this. So if it's not your intention to continue to create and live in toxic-like conditions, then you have to leave like yesterday. What that means is start looking for a new job or creating your business today. What that means is, sis, leave his ass alone today. And that also means start speaking up for yourself today, reclaim your life today, reclaim your time today, all of it. Do it today. Now, for those who haven't decided quite yet that it's time to leave the pot of boiling water, it may seem like it's because you have a lot of really valid reasons. But I can guarantee you that if you are willing to dig just a little bit deeper, the root is always because you don't believe you deserve better. And until you can shift that, nothing is going to significantly change for you. So After saying all of that, the good news is I am a master at helping people shift their focus and their energy in order to create the lives they deserve. And this is exactly what we do in the Wealthy Happy Soul Project, week after week after week. Whatever is keeping you stuck and unfulfilled and swimming in that boiling pot of exhaustion, I got you. We dig in and we shift that energy week after week for as long as you need shifting. If you are having trouble finding the happiness in your success, let me tell you, you deserve so much better. Go to drtangi.com, click on the yellow course button, and come join us. We would love to have you, and I will see you next week. Happy holidays. Hey, want to learn exactly how to overcome all the obstacles that are keeping you from having both success and happiness? Well, sign up for the Wealthy Happy Soul Project so that you can begin creating the life you really want to live. And this is perfect for you if you don't want to waste another year swimming in indecision while watching other people just get over themselves and do the things that you have been dreaming about. There are so many people, even during a worldwide pandemic, who have started their business anyway, who have doubled their income anyway, and who have switched careers anyway. Isn't it your turn? Go to drtangi.com, click on the yellow course button, and sign up now. Thank you for listening to the Wealthy Happy Soul podcast. If you want to dive deeper into alignment and start cultivating your inner wealth, head on over to drtangi.com.